Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. This is Mike Amos. He is Forrest Lee as we start a Monday, September the 12th. And Forrest, we've got a lot to talk about over the weekend. The Sun Belt Conference just ran roughshod over everybody they played, I think.
Right, it was a great day for the Sun Belt Conference.
Even Louisiana Monroe won. So, I'd like to look at that. I don't know for sure if they lost the game this weekend.
I can go back and look at the results.
But, boy, what a big weekend we saw. First of all, we saw Marshall beat Notre Dame. We saw Appalachian State beat
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher's team, and then Georgia Southern went to Nebraska and beat Nebraska, so that's three big ones right there. And then to knock that off, how about this? South Alabama went to Central Michigan and beat them.
That was a good day.
On the road, all of them on the road.
My wife was pretty tickled about the Georgia Southern game. She graduated from Georgia Southern, and anyway, that was a great win. And Scott Frost, he he lost his job. But
did he lose it?
Yeah, they fired.
They fired him. I was wondering about it. They went ahead and fired him.
He gets a $15 million buyout.
Oh, God.
Yeah, 15.
Oh, another reward for losing. Another reward for losing.
But, Georgia State played North Carolina good. That score was North Carolina 35-28. Also in the Sun Belt, Ohio State beat Arkansas State. Also in the Sun Belt, Miami beat Southern Miss 30-7.
Oh, yeah.
Already mentioned South Alabama defeated Central Michigan 38-24. We already mentioned the Marshall.
That's a big win there, too.
Yeah, we already mentioned Marshall, Appalachian State. And James Madison 63, Norfolk State 7. East Carolina beat Old Dominion 39-21. Coastal Carolina 31, Gardner Webb 27. Troy 38, A&M 17 to Alabama A&M. Louisiana beat our former quarterback 49-21. Louisiana 49, Eastern Michigan 21. Taylor Powell.
Yeah.
Texas State 41, Florida International, I believe that's right, 12.
They beat Florida International. That's a big win for Texas State.
And Georgia Southern, like we mentioned, beat Nebraska 45-42, and University of Louisiana Monroe defeated Nichols 35-7.
So, man, what?
Troy was a 39-point favorite at pick and played one of the worst first halves in Troy football history, I'd say, on Saturday.
Well, let me answer this.
You're leading a team that just got beat 59-0. You're getting beat by 3 with about a minute to go in the half, and finally take the lead 7-3. Horrible first half performance by Troy football team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking about absolutely horrible.
Well, you know what? I was moving around, and I was with some people that were going from box to box. I wasn't paying as much attention to it as I should have, but I know this, that when given time, and I've said this on the show many times, when given time, even Forrest Lee can pick you apart if you got enough time. And that was the deal. That their quarterback looked great. He was drilling that ball in there, and mostly because he had time. Don't you agree? If you got time, more or less anybody.
I'll say this: when I watched that first half, and I watched all App State, Texas A&M. I mean, Texas A&M literally just physically got whipped by App State. I mean, it was no fluke whatsoever. Only reason A&M was even in that game is they ran a kickoff back 95 yards per touchdown.
Yeah.
Troy is in big
trouble. And Mike,
big time trouble this weekend. It's the worst matchup Troy's had over the years they've been in the Sun Belt, because Appalachian State I mean, usually beats Troy by 3 or 4 touchdowns. But that team I watched against A&M, I mean, their offensive line, they were just pushing A&M around. I mean, Troy's got Carlton Marshall out at linebacker, looks like, will not play. K.J. Robinson's out at linebacker, another starting linebacker will not play. He didn't play against Alabama A&M. I mean, this is like the worst case scenario ever. Ain't game day is going to be there.
What you mean? Are you telling me Marshall is not going to play?
He got hurt.
He's hurt. He's not going to play.
How bad is he hurt?
I mean, he had to get carried off the field.
Golly.
So this is usually you would catch a team like when Troy beat LSU. You know, Troy came back and played South Alabama, and Troy had all that hype. Our field goal kicker missed 4 or 5 field goals. Troy got beat at home by South Alabama, so you know you expect a letdown by Appalachian State, but they're just too good. Their top running back that rushed for 1,300 yards last year.
And
played against A&M.
Mike and
they sent him out.
Mike, and to cap it all out, the game day crew's going to be at Appalachian State this weekend.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's been the biggest game in App State history because college game day will be there.
Michael, it is also, when you look at tickets for sale on StubHub and all that, the most sought-after ticket, the highest ticket in the country, is the Troy Appalachian State game, and the lowest price ticket now is $229. It's over Oklahoma, Nebraska. It's the highest ticket out there. Amazing. Is the Troy Appalachian State game.
I wonder what the Troy.
I'll say this: Troy's going to have to do trick plays. They're going to have to do something. they just have never. They've never played well against App State. Silver's beat him one time. Neil Brown, I think maybe Neil Brown's second year at home. I think we beat him. But yeah, it's gonna be really bad if that same Troy team shows up to play this weekend.
479 miles away from Troy to Boone, North Carolina. 479 miles. Take you 7 hours and 41 minutes.
In the 40s at night out there.
Are you serious? Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we will not act.
Well, what were you thinking during the Alabama game, Dad? Did you watch any of it?
I watched every inch of it. I watched every bit of it.
I mean, Texas is a first down away from just basically running the clock out.
Yeah.
And the headlines would have been Auburn beats Alabama.
Yeah.
Because Texas place kicker's last name was Auburn. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
That was a shocking game. I mean, before the half, Texas is literally just trying to run the clock out. The Sarkeesians just happy to go, in 10-10. Next thing you know, Alabama, they just give up about 2 or 3 long runs, and Texas is at the doorstep to kick a field goal for the half. Thank goodness it was a botched snap, and I think Will Anderson maybe got a piece of it, and that was the difference in the ball game when it turned out. That chip shot field goal that missed before the half.
So what do you think? Alabama's not that good, or what?
I think we got to get our receiving core, and we got to figure who's going to ram the ball down your throat. Yeah. If we need 1 foot, what running back?
And I think they
receiving. So they put Roldell Williams in running back. The guy has not played the whole game. The kid out of Hueytown, that blew out his knee last year. Alabama needs a half yard, and that's who they go to. A guy that had not played the whole game. Offensive line, I don't know if you watched the play, huge hole. Huge.
And he slipped,
He
didn't he?
slips and falls.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
He was scared. He was nervous. He was scared. You're right. But you know what? Where is
that was an interesting guy to have in there at running back.
Yeah, it was. It really was. Oh man, they must wanted a storybook. They wanted to write a storybook on it.
Yeah, you're right. Though, for the wide receivers got no separation the whole game.
I said at the end of the third quarter, I think they had 3 catches for 14 yards. Is that what I read on the website?
Yeah, going into the last quarter, I think Alabama had 190 yards of offense. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I tell you.
I mean, I'll tell you this: Texas deserves to be ranked.
Oh yeah, they sure do.
Well,
that freshman quarterback was the real deal. If Alabama doesn't knock him out of the game, I mean, Alabama might have got beat by 2 touchdowns.
It might have. And number 31 is not lighting up any fires, is he? They must be double teaming.
He made the big sack at the very end.
Yeah.
Pushed it back to a long 48, 49-yard field goal, but the guy just knocked it right down the pipe. Yeah, he jumped offside 3 times. He had a personal foul penalty called against him. He played horrible.
Yeah.
We won.
Alabama had 15 penalties for over 100 yards.
Yeah, that was bad.
And then, you know what's so crazy? Then my wife's like, Michael, turn it over to watch Auburn. Auburn's about to get beat. And I didn't even know that was even going on. That's how crazy of a day it was.
Yeah.
But Auburn holds on to win 24-16.
But did they have a hard time against that bunch?
Yeah, they sure did.
They were down at the half.
Yeah.
They won 24-16 against.
Well, let's say hurrah to them. Good Auburn Tigers. Oh, he's coming to town. Da 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 da. Hit 'em high, hit 'em low, bum 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 bum. Hey, here you go. Don't be talking about the Auburn Tigers, Mike. They won. They won.
I'll tell you what, I'll be excited too. Well, we got to get you.
I like it. I like his
Any toy manufacturer want to donate to this? And a big L?
We need a Troy Newman.
I tell you what, a friend of mine, I'll tell you what, Ben Beard, a couple of his girls were at the game, and when they said that listen to this, on the field the temperature was 124 degrees. Can you believe that?
Right,
124 degrees. They played that game. As far as I believe it even make anybody draw a sweat. But
I told my wife we're gonna get a wedding in Austin, Texas here in 3 weeks, and I was like, my goodness, I hope to get up to God I don't have to wear a suit. It's an outside wedding.
Yeah. Well, man, I tell you, it was a great day. As far as the exposure for the, and I'll tell you somebody else you don't want to play. You don't want to play this bunch from Pennsylvania, Mike.
Penn State?
No, no. Well, they're not from Penn State, are they? They scored.
Pittsburgh and Tennessee was a great game. So what's up?
Yeah, I saw that.
They went to overtime.
But it was some good games. But
I tell you, a great game. I stayed up until 1:30. My wife was screaming at me because I woke her up in the middle of the night because I accidentally knocked something over.
Give me that score.
Saw what time it was. I stayed up until 1:30 watching the end of BYU Baylor.
That went in overtime.
That went in double overtime. And I'll just say this: BYU had a kicker, supposed to be a senior, great kicker. He missed a 35-yarder to end it in regulation. So BYU would have won by 3. And then he missed another 35-yarder in overtime. They would have won by 3 again. And finally, BYU scored a touchdown. And Baylor had the ball at the 5-yard line, first and goal, and they stopped them on 4 plays.
Man. Oh, gosh.
Baylor, though, is not near the Baylor they were last year. Defensively, they're pretty good, but offensively, they were awful.
Yeah, well,
But, BYU's got all those kids that are about 23, 24 years old. It makes a difference.
Yeah. I'll tell you a couple of scores that you didn't mention. The University of Tennessee San Antonio beat Army 41-38 in overtime. I believe that's
Army's 0-2.
and both of them came down to the wire too. Every one of them did. And Memphis beat Navy 37-13. That's another one that you might not have gotten. Samford goes to
Navy's 0-2.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Samford goes to Georgia and loses only by 33-0.
How about the Kansas State-Missouri score? Kansas State 40, Missouri 12.
Yeah.
They got a running back that's really good at Kansas State. Thank goodness we don't play them this year or anytime soon.
I tell you what, man, Coach Summerall left a really good defense at Kentucky. Boy, they were just physically. I mean, up front, offensive line and defensive line, they just beat Florida. I mean, I watched the whole game, back and forth. I mean, defensively, man, they can play Georgia pretty tough defensively.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty good, no question about it.
And that quarterback's tough too, that Levis kid. So who won in high school? Sean finished the one Pike County won. Who are the other games in high school?
Here we go. We got Charles Simpson 38, Carroll Vozark 14. Pike County defeated Northside Academy 28-18. Reeltown defeated Goshen 42-22. Zion Chapel defeated Sampson 19-6.
That was a big one right there.
Wow.
That was a big one.
It's usually dominated Zion Chapel. I lost that.
Yeah.
Chambers Academy defeated Crenshaw Christian Academy 38-6. Enterprise 58 to Smith Stations 14. Luverne defeated Horseshoe Bend 12-0. Highland Home 28, Lynette 18.
Boy, they got a heck of a team, don't they?
Arrington defeats GW Long 34-18.
That's a big one too.
And then a slugfest, Elba 42, Brantley 35.
So I missed one. How many y'all missed?
On the high school, your dad missed none, and I missed 2 on the high school part.
Wow, Dad, you missed none on high school.
Well, I know, but let me tell you this, in the colleges, I was telling everybody that so-and-so would win the money, so-and-so would win the money, and surely they did. I feel like, I don't know.
Your Georgia Southern pick went for people for money.
Sure did.
All right, Max missed 16. Steve Camp missed 15 overall. Mike Jr. minus 12. Mike Amos minus 11. And I missed 10.
And so he wins for the second week in a row.
I'll tell you what, the games that hurt me were A&M was shocking. And then I like Kentucky in the points, but Florida won the game. And then I had West Virginia, and I thought West Virginia was just a lock. Yeah. Neil Brown is the next coach to go.
Well, what was that score?
A lot of people think Neil Brown will be out the next game he loses, possibly.
What was the score?
They were up 14-0 against Kansas.
55-42, Kansas.
But
Kansas won the game.
So it goes to overtime, and I didn't even know this could happen in overtime. It was 49-42 Kansas. So West Virginia is trying to go to another overtime. He throws an interception. I didn't know you could return that for a touchdown, and it counted as points. Even though the game was over, that guy returned it for a touchdown, and they ended up winning 55-42 in overtime.
Wow.
So instead of 49-42, they won 55-42 because the guy returned the interception for a touchdown.
Wow.
Mike,
did y'all know that? Did y'all know that?
I did not know that.
I did. I knew that it could.
I thought all you had to do was catch the ball, hit the ground, the game was over because you already won anyway.
Oh yeah.
But that guy returned it for a touchdown.
He sure did.
Yeah.
And Neil Brown's in trouble.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Neil Brown is 0-2, and if you go on any West Virginia message board, it's fire Neil Brown.
Oh really?
Fire Neil Brown immediately. It's like a Scott Frost situation.
Oh
because
God.
At least Neil Brown has been to 2 bowl games.
Yeah.
Scott Frost never came close to a bowl game.
And he's gone at Nebraska, Mike. He was their favorite son.
That game right there, I watched the end of that game. I mean, and Georgia Southern with hardly no time left, just drove the whole field and scored a touchdown and won it.
Yeah, and here's the heir apparent to that job. Mark Stoops, name is in it, at Kentucky. Matt Campbell at Iowa State. Mickey Joseph, who he's at Nebraska. He has a role there. Bill O'Brien, Alabama's offensive coordinator.
Bill O'Brien would be a good fit.
Jim Leonhard, Wisconsin defensive coordinator. His name has come up. Gary Peterson. We need to get him.
Yeah.
as a help.
Yeah, Gary Patterson.
Gary Patterson.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, I knew that Alabama was in trouble when I saw that he was the defensive coordinator because he is a good one. He always has been.
And of course, Urban Meyer name has come up, but
well, you know, evidently they feel like they can afford to pay these guys. I mean, I would think the Kentucky job would be a bigger job than
So see,
Nebraska.
One thing about Nebraska, as I read, Frost, always want to say Frost. Frost had a buyout.
$17 million.
He got $15 million.
$15 million. Hooray for the losers.
When you want to leave, and what door you want to go out of?
Yeah.
But if he would have got fired after October 1st, which is only a few weeks away, it would have gone to 7.5. So that's how bad they wanted to get rid of him.
Oh, God.
So they could have waited 3 more weeks and saved 7.5.
Golly.
Just think how close they are to being 2-0. I mean, they were close to being 2-0.
Oh, me.
Well, they won 1 game. They're 1-2.
Okay. Evidently.
They lost to Northwestern, but then Northwestern gets blown out by Duke at home.
Yeah. And
that's another game I lost. The biggest shot, though, really, if you look at it on paper, is who in the world thought Washington State would go to Wisconsin and win?
Yeah.
I mean, Wisconsin at home is usually great.
Yeah, that was unreal. It really was.
And UAB rushes for almost 300 yards, commits 4 turnovers, and loses at Liberty. So Brian Vincent has his first loss, and it's a loss that he's going to have a hard time taking when you rush for almost 400 yards and lose the game.
Well,
see, that's where I got you on that one too. I picked Liberty. Just
who shot Liberty Balance? Huh?
Liberty at home is tough.
Yeah, take Liberty at home. How about Utah? Bless
you.
it.
Houston, Texas Tech was a great game. That game went overtime at Houston.
And I had Texas Tech.
Yeah, he won, but he won the whole thing because of that. Exactly.
I had to go look at Will Matthews' pitch, see how Will did. I imagine not very good. He was real big on the Gus bus on Friday night. And I said, but Will, that Louisville quarterback plays really good sometimes. Got Malik Cunningham out of Montgomery. And he played really well.
Yeah. They played at Park Crossing.
Central Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to let you know Taylor Powell, who's at Eastern Michigan, they lost to the Louisiana Raging Cajuns 49-21. For the season, he's 53 of 81, but he's thrown 4 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions.
Oh, God.
So,
yeah.
How about Utah?
He's not the real deal at quarterback.
How about Utah? They got beat by Florida. Then they turn around and go back home, and they beat Southern Utah 73-7. So they didn't do very well. Middle Tennessee.
I'll tell you what, the Fox announcers for the Alabama game were the most biased announcers in the history of college football. I mean, that Gus Johnson and that Joel Klatt. I mean, that was hard to listen to.
Well, you mean that they were bragging on Texas more than?
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know why they'd be talking Texas up. They're leaving the Big 12.
Yeah.
They're an SEC team, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, until another year or
so. Arkansas beat South Carolina 44-30.
I tell you what, that guy was a hell of a coach. That Sam Pittman,
that's right.
He's a really good coach.
And just a while ago, I heard you mention Frost, and at one time Frost was a head football coach at University of Central Florida, and he's the one that pretty much had put Central Florida back on the map. And then he loses, and they pay him this huge buyout, $15 million, and I just can't get over it. Do you know if they do go after the former Troy coach at West Virginia, hey, he's going to get a buyout too, a big buyout. And I don't know if West Virginia can afford it.
I need to pull up Neil Brown's buyout.
But it's amazing how you can be on cloud nine one week, and the other week they're asking you to pack your bags or park a moving van next to your house.
Dad, you make this kind of money. I mean, if you don't produce, man, you need to lose your job.
Yeah.
Just the way this business works.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame. It really is. Oh, gosh. Arrington won a big win over G.W. Long in high school football, 34-18. Arrington is sitting up, and Coach Kilcrease they were ranked 5th going into this week, and by beating number 3 ranked G.W. Long, they should be within 3 to 4. Are they in the league with 5? Are they in the league?
Ooh.
Huh?
They're in the same division, but
Yeah.
and they're in this league with them. I don't know.
No. What
yeah,
I'm
they're
saying,
2A.
Yeah,
5
2A.
is 2A.
So.
Wow, Dad. We have nothing to worry about when it comes to Neil Brown. He must have had a really good agent. Must be Jimmy Sexton.
Yeah.
If Brown is fired after the end of the season or during the season, Neil Brown will be paid $16 million.
Oh,
Wow.
$16
boy.
million is the buyout for Neil Brown at West Virginia.
Oh,
Wow.
me.
So he is set for life.
Are they going to fire him? Do you feel like they're going to fire him?
I mean, I'm sure West Virginia's got some big-time money, folks.
Oh, Sexton, boys, no telling how much money Sexton makes off these guys, too.
I'm going to take a quick left. Albert Pujols hit 2 home runs this weekend.
Yeah.
He has 697.
That's
He's
great.
got 21 games left. I hope he can hit 3 more. He's number 4 on the list now behind Barry Bonds, Henry Aaron, and Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
And
It's
number
kinda
4, Albert
interesting,
Pujols.
a lot of people talk about steroids as a possible issue with Pujols early in his career. It's just something you got to talk about in baseball and steroids. How in the world is a guy that basically had hit no home runs the last few years all of a sudden hit this power surge? That was like about 100 games left in his last year. This is his last year in baseball. Kind of makes you wonder what's going on there.
I tell you,
big Pujols fan.
Did he take a few shots to get him a little bit stronger down the stretch?
Yeah.
I don't know how this is happening, to be honest with you.
Well,
You don't see guys get better right before they're about to retire. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
Hank
you
Aaron
hope it's all legit, but you just can't trust things anymore.
Yeah, I think Henry Aaron, I don't know how many Pujols has hit this year, but Aaron probably hit 15 to 25 his last year when he was in his 40s.
How about my little sweethearts this morning, Mike? How they doing?
Oh, we got one off to school. I had one cheering against Alabama this weekend. My great twin sister Camille is brainwashed one of my daughters to being an Auburn fan. And I had my little Millie wearing an Alabama t-shirt. Dad went through 3 t-shirts during the games because I'm so superstitious. I finally went to my old reliable to win the game, but yeah, it was a lot of fun watching football all day Saturday. I'll be honest with you, it's been raining so much down here lately that I'm just happy to see the sun can be out for about 4 or 5 days.
But so you think Troy is in deep trouble? Is that right? You don't.
Well, I mean, I just can't believe that we were almost losing at halftime to Alabama A&M.
Yeah, but but I'm gonna tell you what, that quarterback, and they had some skilled people that could run.
They had about 50 transfers. Every other player was.
Well, to be honest with you, I thought that quarterback was really good, especially the first half.
But Mike, you need to schedule a weekend when you can get here on a Friday afternoon and watch the Trojans of Charles Henderson tee it up.
They're good.
Well, they roll.
Yeah, I'm coming the weekend. Will they play on that Friday or will they play
this weekend?
No, next weekend.
I think next weekend they'll play on a Friday.
It would be in Troy.
Next week is Thursday.
Oh, God, there he is. How long has he been sitting over there?
10, 15 minutes.
Golly, God, I am so
saw him.
sorry. I did not see him.
Yeah, we got Coach Hambright.
We're going to
here in the studio.
take a break, and we're going to bring in Quinn Hambright right after this.
I thought you saw him.
In the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
These teenage years can be tricky to navigate, especially when it comes to teaching my son about managing money. I'm thankful for helpful tools like Sidekick from Max. With Sidekick, requesting and rewarding money is easy. He can earn it by completing chores, making honor roll, or simply making a request from his own app. I love that I can easily monitor his purchases and set limits to help him learn to make smart choices with his spending, even on video games. Sidekick. Find it in your Max app.
Our wide selection of pre-owned vehicles looks so good, you'll think they're new.
So take a short drive to Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Ford, Troy, Alabama. In the market for...
I've seen some bad officiating in my life. That was pretty bad.
Back to our show brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. And Jason wants to let all you know about the big bull riding event
This
coming
Saturday, this Friday and Saturday.
to the Trojan
Bull riding and
bull
barrel racing.
riding and bull riding and barrel racing. It's going to be a lot of fun at Cattleman's Park. And ladies and gentlemen, we're very privileged to have Coach Quinn Hambright on our show.
Yes, sir.
And my good friend, you won your third straight games, but I say you won your fourth straight game. I still count that Pike County game as a regular season game.
Yeah, you know we're always going to count that Pike County.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I tell you, your team played very well, and despite an overzealous, and that's what I meant, that's the best word for it, an overzealous crew out there.
Yeah.
I reckon that's what you call them.
Coach Hambright probably can't talk about the officiating, but we can.
Yeah.
Well, according to the Pike County folks and the Brantley folks, they weren't too pleased either, but I try to refrain from such controversy.
Coach, I've been talking to Dad a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched Charles Henson my whole life, played at Charles Henson, I've never seen a kid like Boyd. I don't even know who to compare Boyd to. I mean, he's a phenomenal
John Johnson is the closest I can think of. And did you ever see John Johnson play?
I didn't, but I do have his little brother in the 10th grade.
Do you? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Is he going to be a good one?
Next year you'll see.
What's his name, Coach?
Cameron
Johnson.
And I would say, ladies and gentlemen, before the Carroll game, in which Charles Henson won the game 38 to 14.
Yes,
14. Over a good Carroll team that had a lot of skilled people, a lot of people that could run. But hey, whoever you had on the ends, I've never seen so much. They looked like they were not even touched sometimes. I mean, y'all were killing their quarterback. He was throwing it down the field and having some success, but he was running for his life.
Yeah, he was.
And who were those defensive ends?
Zion Grady on one side, and
he's a tall kid. Is that right?
He's a sophomore.
Yeah, he's a sophomore, and Jalen Sutherland.
Is he number 5?
No, number 5 is actually Quay Grimes. Quay Grimes plays outside backer, but he rushes on the edge sometimes.
And Mike,
he's really good too.
Yeah, he's a sophomore.
The Carroll guy, who was a great athlete and everything, he didn't have a prayer. It looked like sometimes that y'all were on top of him before he got the ball. You know?
He was so elusive though. Like he was like a slippery little snake, and you know, we got a few face mask calls, but they were he was ducking through everything. So you know, we were low. He was just lower. You know. So, but I was pleased with our effort and stuff. You know,
of course, your quarterback played very well, and there were a lot of drop balls too.
Oh my God,
7 that should have been caught. And but I tell you what, he's the real deal. Parker Adams is the real deal, and I'll tell you this another thing. A real deal is Boyd, the wide receiver, and he made. Scored 4 touchdowns.
Your offensive line played good, Coach, from what I watched.
Hey, they really did. You told me that who coaches your offensive line?
Powell. Shannon Powell.
Shannon Powell, a young man that his brother was a great player here, played at Troy State, you know, and then of course Shannon played after him, but
Shannon played for Jay Jeffcoat. He played. He was 2 years older than me.
Yeah, Shannon was. All right, but now his brother, who I should know right off the bat, but he played before him, and but
I'm just saying it looked like Parker had plenty of time to throw the ball.
Yeah, I don't think
of what I watched.
I mean, I don't think he hadn't had a sack or an interception this year.
That is something. That is, and he's thrown the ball quite a bit. And everything.
Yeah.
And of course there were some other people that did well, and did. You know, there was a couple of guys that dropped the ball a few times too, and I'm not gonna mention a name, but you know, I'm sure you've addressed it because he was wide open when he dropped them too.
Yeah, we had a little fun yesterday.
You did.
We had a little fun yesterday, but I'm proud of Parker though. Parker he's number 13 in the state in passing yards, number 4 in 5A.
Yeah.
So and you know, we had a top running game. Like we're balanced. We have 400 yards, over 400 yards. That's over 200 passing and over 200 rushing.
That is something. That is really something. You know, one of the kids that was running the ball, he refused to come down. Now, who is that guy that broke all those tackles?
Yeah, Zach Coleman.
Zach Coleman,
number 4.
Yeah, number 4 is Zach Coleman, Jr. He's a kid he's a workhorse, and we keep him limited during the week because he's still nursing an ankle sprain.
Yeah.
But on game time, he turns it on.
Well, I know he broke a lot of tackles, and he's low, and he's only a sophomore.
He's a junior.
Oh, junior. Okay.
Yes, sir.
How much he weigh?
Zach about 215.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, who's your other running backs?
We had Antonio Frazier back there, and of course.
Now, number 20. Now, listen.
He's a sophomore.
Listen, I kept telling people I went to the middle school or a junior varsity game on last Tuesday night, and I kept asking these guys because I was just looking on the sideline. I was just standing there with, talking about these guys. I said, who is he and who is that? And all right. And number 20 was over there.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even playing in the game. He wasn't even hardly playing in the game. I don't know if he even went in there at all.
Yeah, we
that's that 20 that I was asking you about. And what's his name?
Antonio Frazier.
Antonio Frazier. He's a sophomore.
He loves those hot taquitos.
Yeah, he does.
but I'll tell you what, he's a sophomore, and it's going to be a great one, I would think.
Yeah, he's going to be a pretty good one.
He's real physical, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he if he starts to run for touchdowns instead of running to get hit, he'll be an excellent football player. He runs to get hit so he can run somebody over.
Yeah, okay.
But that's part of it.
Well, Coach, you got another home game. What is this going to be your last of the home games? I know you played 5 in a row at home, or you got 2 more left.
Now I have 2 more after this one actually.
Well, Coach Beauregard comes in. They defeated Selma 21-16. Central Haynesville 42-14. They defeated Valley 31-14.
They beat Valley. That's pretty good.
And they beat Tallahassee 34-14. 14-6.
Yeah.
So they roll into
wow.
town. What? So
Unbeaten.
they're in the battle of the unbeatens.
Yeah, they're unbeaten. We're unbeaten. So hopefully we can compete with a well-coached team. They're pretty good over there. The coach there was the defensive coordinator for he's over player relations over at Troy. Caleb Ross.
Oh, okay,
He
yeah.
was Caleb Ross' defense coordinator at Prattville.
Okay, that's
So
right.
really good coach. They're stout. Their running backs are those old school running backs that you've seen with 230 pounds with the neck rolls. I mean, they're thick, up front. They're stout. So they're going to be physical. They're going to be big.
A few years back, they had what most people thought was the best running back in the state, and that Webb kid.
Yeah.
It plays at South Alabama now.
Playing at South Alabama now, yeah.
And,
Beauregard keeps a big running back. They keep a nice big running back. So.
they're.
So, Coach, you think talent-wise this will be the best team you played?
As far as speed, athleticism, no. Probably in the physical aspect, maybe. Greenville was very physical, but Beauregard brings a different type of physicality. Greenville was big, but they weren't this big. Like their running back was big up front. Beauregard is big on both sides of the ball, and I don't think we'll play a bigger linebacker crew than we will with Beauregard.
Okay.
So.
But of course, that game is a 7 o'clock kickoff.
What do they run offensively? Are they a spread thing?
Yeah, they spread. They'll run 20 personnel. They keep a fullback, tight end in the game. They like to run their quarterback around. He can throw it a little bit. He wasn't the starting quarterback last year because I think he was at Moody. The head coach, I'm pretty sure it was Moody. The head coach at Moody last year is now their offensive coordinator, and he brought his son, who's the quarterback. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that's a factor in their 4-0 as well.
Yeah, Moody is outside of Birmingham.
Yeah, their starting quarterback is actually number 1 in 4A passing yards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and earlier, this is off subject, but earlier y'all was talking about the Kansas game. The kid that caught the interception played DB for me at Hillcrest.
Did he really?
Really?
Yeah, the kid that caught the interception and ran it back.
But to win that game.
Yeah, to win the game. And he could have failed, but his name was Kobe Bryant. He's overzealous as well, so he won the score.
All he had to do was put the knee. They were already going to win the game.
Yeah,
they were already up 7.
Yeah.
I didn't know that rule even existed, that you could return that at those points would count.
Yeah, I thought. I didn't really think about it, to be honest with you. Like I thought if you catch it, they'll probably just blow it up and you'll be done.
Well, in high school, you can't return it, can you?
No.
Yeah.
Once you catch the interception.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that and
so
then
as far as that kid though, I mean, how did he end up going to Kansas of all places? Did he have any other offers?
He had a few more, but Kansas really loved him. I think Les Miles was there at the time, and they loved him. And I don't know, you can't let kids like that because he's a baller. I mean, when I say baller, one of the best DB, he will run your route for you, tell you what you're running, intercept the ball, give it back to you, and then line up on at receiver and do the exact same thing. Like that's the type of kid he is. But
the top running back at Appalachian State played at Clay Central.
Yep.
The
Clay
Central
Central.
kid.
Yep.
He left the state.
Sure did.
And
I tell you what, Troy could have really used him.
Yeah.
Well, and what I thought would be a strong point with Troy was they'd have a
line play is awful.
Well, I thought they would have had several running backs, from 5 to 7 good running backs, and I haven't seen them but about 2 or 3 play.
Well, we only rushed for 43 yards.
Yeah.
Isn't that unreal?
I hope that Alabama in general don't let y'all one boy get out of here though.
Yeah.
Because he has a Houston offer. And Houston right now is loving on him. Memphis is loving on him.
Yeah.
So he just
and they can and the sad thing about all of this, they can pay.
Zach Efforts is going to offer him at Auburn, isn't he?
I hope so.
Yeah, but listen,
I hope so.
And the sad thing about it, it's almost who's got the most money. I mean, they pay these guys now.
Yeah.
They pay these guys. If Houston pays a huge amount of money, he's liable to go there, and it's and rightfully so. I mean, I'm sure the parents would like to have $100,000 or more, or whatever.
Right.
But the sad thing is, they can legally pay these kids to play.
Yep.
Well, it's name, image, and likeness, endorsements. You're representing different, companies,
organizations, and businesses.
I mean, Bryce Young is representing probably about 10 different. I mean, I guess maybe 10 to 15 different, owners of businesses.
Right.
Dr. Pepper. I mean, Bryce Young's making $5 million a year right now.
Yeah, there's about 6 or 7 states that allow NIL in high school.
Yeah, Florida's one of them.
Louisiana
I
and the
didn't
rest
know
of
that.
California. Yeah, there's about 6 or 7 or 8 states that allow it.
Yep.
Well, what we're talking about is
high school kids can sell their
represent a
name.
car dealership.
oh boy, isn't that unreal?
Yep.
Yeah,
Sure can.
They get NIL deals.
yeah, and
Wow, I did not know that. That is big time news there.
Yeah. Coach, the region, this is a non-region game we got coming up,
Yes,
but
sir.
in the region right now, Charles, Henderson, and Eufaula, we're both 2-0 in the region. Carroll is 1-1. Headland is 1-1 in the region, and 0-2. Greenville's 0-2, and Rehoboth is 0-2. So Charles Henderson, we're in a good position, but it's, that to the side. We got Beauregard on our mind, but I want to bring that
we got Beauregard on our mind, Coach. Coach, back to Boyd, and we continue to talk about this kid. If he wanted to, surely he wouldn't. He could actually sit out. He's a junior. He could sit out his senior year and join a college at the middle of the year, or no, in January.
January, yeah.
So that's another thing that you got to worry about. These college coaches that would actually recommend that they do that. To keep from getting injured and all that. But hopefully that's not the case.
No, I won't.
Surely that would not be the case.
No, that won't be.
Yeah.
No, it won't be.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
But
I mean, the thing is, though, with Boyd, I mean, like, if you played him at running back, do you think he'd rush for 200 yards a game?
he had 2 carries for 52 yards. Friday. The week before, he had not.
So, I mean, what do you think his position will be in college, though? Wide receiver?
He would probably be like the guy from the 49ers.
Yeah, you talk about Debo.
Yeah, Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a kid that you have to give him the ball. If you just line him up on the outside, they can double team him. If you just put him at the slot, they can scheme him. If you put him at running back, just put him at running back, they can scheme against him. So if you really just, analyze our games, we had him at quarterback at one point, and I don't know if y'all realize that, but it was a false start.
And you could easily do it in the shotgun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he can throw it. So
he's lefty. Isn't he lefty?
he's a lefty.
Hey, I looked at his hands the other day. He's got huge hands. You
Yeah.
ever notice that?
Yeah, he wears extra large gloves. And 13 size shoes. So hopefully,
Wait a minute. What'd you say, shoes?
13. Yeah.
Coach, no. His
How
feet.
tall is he? He's only 6 foot?
No, he's about 5'10".
Yeah.
About 5'10". So hopefully we can get a few more inches. With the extra large hands, 13 shoe.
Yeah, Mike, they could sit him at tailback and let him run 20 times a game. He'll
easily go
have over 200 yards.
I mean, that's not bragging. That's just a God on the truth. If he touched the ball 20 times in the backfield, he'll rush for 200 yards.
And he had great instinct. Well, and let me tell you this. The other night was the first time I've seen him really show his speed off. I mean, he looked speedy before, but do you remember the pass where he just sort of button hooked and then everybody was around him and then he just outran everybody?
Nobody touched him.
Hey, he looked like 4 or 5, and don't exaggerate. 4 or 5 is fast.
It is.
It's real fast. If he could make it to the 4.4s, that would be great. But 4 or 5, he left everybody, and we're talking about a fast bunch of kids from Ozark.
Yeah, Ozark is pretty athletic. I mean, they're fast.
Yeah.
They're extremely fast, actually. But
and I know we're making a big to-do over a young junior in high school, but let me just say this. Charles Henderson has a very special ball player, and I'm thinking that Parker Adams is going to be considered the same way.
Yep.
He can throw it, he can spin it, and He can throw as good as anybody. Now, he's not a big physical guy yet, but he can also run. A lot of people think, look at Parker. Hey, Parker's 4'6". I would say he's got good speed, doesn't he?
Yeah, Parker got pretty good speed. He's learning how to slide. I think that, and he slid once, and it was a 15-yarder because they was a targeting penalty. But
exactly.
And I was kind of gonna just run the clock out, but that target penalty kind of fired me up a little bit. So
Coach, what are your biggest surprises this year? I mean, I know last year you struggled early, and then you won some games late. I think y'all finished y'all win 2 games or 3 games last year. I mean, 2. Did you really realize you could turn it around this quick? This is an amazing coaching job.
I knew we had the talent. I knew that we had, and I knew that we needed a stout coaching staff to make it happen. And kudos to Troy City Schools for allowing me to bring in the guys that I felt can make it happen. Without them, if I was by myself, we'd probably be, we won 1 or 2 by now. But because of my coaching staff, DeAndre Austin, we got Coach Graham, Scott Graham, and Powell, and both of the Coach Jones. And then the young coaches that we brought on. We put our heads together, man. We made up our minds that we're going to grind until we can't anymore, and the kids bought in. So, my biggest surprise, and it's not really a surprise, it's just the O-line play.
Yeah.
O-line was very concerning last year. In the trenches in general, O-line and D-line. But I'm just extremely proud how they stepped up.
If I know Coach Powell, one thing, he's hard-nosed, and he's gonna make that offensive line hard-nosed. And Butch Powell was his brother, and Butch is no longer with us, but he was one of the great players in Charles Henderson High School history, and his brother doing a great job of coaching.
Yeah, definitely. And Coach Austin is an O-line guy. He's my offensive coordinator. So with him and Coach Powell, they feed off of each other. Coach Austin's really, when you get hired, what I've always heard is, as a head coach, your most important hires is your O-line coach and your strength and conditioning coach. So he was an O-line, and he's an intelligent individual, and I'm strength and conditioning. So we had.
The great thing about all this, though, to me, is you're so young.
Yeah, we're still babies.
I can't imagine what it's going to be like next year.
Yeah, we lose 2, 3. We lose 3 or 4 receivers, 2 O-linemen, a linebacker, and a safety.
Yeah. You got to have it.
The Davenport kid could have had about 4 interceptions just from what I watched.
Oh yeah, he could have. He has to position himself. He's still, and no disrespect, but he still has to get used to this level of football.
Yeah. The Mosley kid's got to learn to catch the ball too.
Yeah, he really. The thing about it, he was in a slump. It's just like kind of Nick. Nick was in a slump last 2 weeks, came back, 4 for 4, and touchbacks. He kicked all of his field goals,
exactly.
So decent punt. But and Mosley's the same way. Mosley is a kid that can ball.
Yeah, because it was 21-14 before he kicked the field goal, wasn't it? 24-14 in the half.
Mm-hmm. And that would be with that 10-point lead.
Yep.
Let me say this.
When you got up 21-0, Coach, I stopped watching. I thought it was over.
And the kids did too.
Hey, Mike,
and that was the problem.
Mike, let me tell you this: the kid, Troy Kicker, now he's not as consistent as he needs to be on extra points and field goals.
Oh, I saw him kicking the ball off.
But let me tell you something: he's got one of the strong. He's not a big guy either. Not big at all. And he kicks it out of the end zone already, and every kick was out of it. Late in the ball game, I thought that was huge that he was able to kick it out of the end zone.
Yep.
I know it made you feel better, didn't it?
Yeah,
I hate
got his mojo back.
Especially against Carroll, who had those 2 speedy quarterback and receiver guys.
The black kid.
And
Coach Blott's son. I didn't know Coach Blott's son was that elusive.
Yeah.
So he was all over the place. He was like a little rabbit
I'll
out
tell you what, that big tall receiver, number 11 from Ozark, looks like he might could develop and play in college one day. He's a good-looking player.
Yeah, he looks pretty good. I think he's a senior though.
Yeah.
But he was tall, long kid. Yeah.
Well, this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, we've got another big one, and we've said it every week. Every game's been a big game, and this one they're going up against undefeated Beauregard. Beauregard's located right outside of Opelika. And believe you me, nobody said anything about it. Opelika beat Central of Phoenix City this weekend.
They did.
Did you know that, Mike?
I did not know that.
They sure did.
Patrick Nix was too busy trying to get his plane tickets ready to go out to watch his son in Oregon.
Did you know that? Let me tell you.
That's a
yes,
big
sir.
one. Who coaches Opelika now?
I don't know.
Man. I know him.
But I bumped into the guy that plays baseball that's so good that Troy signed, and God, he looked like a middle linebacker, But
Coach, as far as the scheduling goes, I don't know if you played a role in this or this was decided long ago. Do you kind of wish you had already had a road game by now, or are you happy playing the first 5 games at home?
I think it's good for the fans so they can see us. But it's more so of when we made it, the region play was home. So when we actually made the schedule, everybody that's in our region was home. The other 2 in the middle, which is Beauregard and St. James, wanted to play here first. So it just happened to be, it was going to be, home, one away in between the 2 non-region games, and then home. It just so happened to fall this way.
Yeah. The head coach at Opelika
Are
is
you going to have to schedule Carver, your old stomping grounds? Are we ever going to play them?
Eventually. That's the plan.
Yeah. The head coach at Opelika is Eric Speakman.
Yep.
Speakman.
Boy, he's done a heck of a job there to beat Central.
How did you come out and help us?
This game, we were fine. We still, like I said, Zach Coleman, ankle sprain, so we hold him out during the week for the most part. He goes through drills, but he doesn't go through any.
That upper is it an upper ankle sprain?
No, it's more so around the heel.
I always heard that the upper ankle sprain was one of the worst injuries you can have. As far as being able to play.
Yeah, that's what I had a few weeks ago, actually. But
all right, so
everybody else is healthy.
Yeah, well, that's great. And the kid,
that's what you had. You got injured.
Yeah, I actually, it's an embarrassing story, but I got pushed in the pool. And I tried to be an athlete and jump on the other side of the pool because I had flip-flops on, my phone, everything in my pocket. And I should have just fell in the pool. But my ankle twist, I had flip-flops on my ankle twist, and it was bad. God. It was very bad. So.
Yeah, you can't push anybody in the pool anymore with those phones. Those phones are too expensive.
Right. So I was a tad upset.
Well, Coach, another thing, y'all look like you did have quite a few, you had your ankles and y'all had to. Did y'all use salt pills or anything like that for cramps? Yeah.
Oh yeah, we I don't think we didn't have any for the last game. I don't think, which is good. I know the previous 3 we did. We had about 2, 3 a game.
Now you're supposed to drink pickle juice.
Yeah, they drink pickle juice. Some salt pills, but they're starting to realize that they just can't put anything in their bodies, throughout the week.
But I'll tell you this: though your rush ins were, and y'all rushed and put pressure on them. Oh, Carroll's gonna win a lot of games because everybody's not gonna rush them like y'all did. Yeah. Y'all rushed him and just ran that guy down. But that's so promising when you got that kind of rush on both sides.
Yeah, and we told them, they can't get past 6 yards. So when they rushed them, I don't know if y'all realized, they actually just settled. They were beating, the tackles so bad that they got back there so fast, which if he puts his foot in the ground, he's going to get north.
Yeah.
So, it was one of those things where we're telling them to keep him in the pocket, but they see him as one-on-one with the quarterback, and they can barely touch him.
And Mike, I'm going to ask him this. I haven't asked him.
The guy that Will Matthews, our lawyer from Ozark, kept on telling us we need to look out for Carmelo. Did he play for them?
Carmelo,
the linebacker, supposed to be really good.
Oh yeah, he was number 27.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
But you know what?
Zach did a pretty good job.
I couldn't even find him in the stands. On the bench. I'm wondering if he played the whole ball game. I'm not sure.
He did. He was 27 27.
Yeah, number 27. He played the entire game.
Well, y'all did a good job on him because he didn't make a lot of noise, like some of you guys can do.
Yeah, Zach did a pretty good job.
Now, let me ask you this, Mike. Your great player, Boyd, is also a strong safety. Is he a good one?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Is he a hard-nosed guy?
Boyd will hit. Yeah, you would think that him being a finesse kid, he can outrun people. He can ball skills are immaculate. You think that he, would be shy away from contact, but he's one of the kids that will try to run you over no matter. Like he's a football player.
Yeah.
He would be considered a true football player. And it'll be a waste to just, put him in one spot and let him stay there. Like we won't be utilizing all of his talents if we did that.
Well, the game ball, I would say, give the game ball to the offensive line. And Coach, I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but can you name that offensive line?
Oh yeah, definitely. They left. We got Zamir Caffey. Junior Shamil Caffey.
All right, Caffey. Now his brother played a couple of years.
2 years ago. Yeah.
2 years ago, and he's the same type player.
Yeah, he is. Zamir's one of the hardest workers. You won't hear a word out of him ever.
Yeah.
Like, what's up, Coach? That's all you're gonna hear all day. What's up, Coach? Yeah, when he's in the weight room, he's gonna be in there and he's gonna work. He's the only lineman we have that has a 6-pack. Like he's an old lineman.
Yeah,
but he has a 6-pack. That's how hard he works. His back look like it's ridiculous. This is one of the hardest workers I've ever seen, ever.
Yeah.
On any level.
And that's something.
Yeah, he works extremely hard. And junior Sterling Sharp, junior Benton Dunn, senior Philip Scott, and senior Connor Jones.
I'm real proud.
And Jones is 6'5", 290. Are some college programs looking at him?
Yeah, they are. They're trying to see how physical he is on the edge, making sure that he finishes blocks, things like that.
He must have done a pretty good job.
That kind of size, you can develop.
You can develop it, yeah.
Well, the thing about it, they didn't even hardly touch Parker the whole ball game.
No.
Now, the great thing about Parker is he's got the instinct, and other teams are starting to see this, that he'll break. I look for him to break a real long run before long because he's got a good instinct, and that's what it takes.
It does. I know we had third and long in their territory. I think maybe at the -15, and Coach also called a quarterback draw, and Parker got about 15 yards to sustain that drive, and that was the last drive we had to score. Yeah, when we threw it to Boyd.
But and Dunn, I watched this kid play, and his granddaddy was a good friend of mine, and we grew up together, and he developed quite a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, he probably had the toughest task on the O-line last week because the guy in front of him was about 330.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's a triplet. He's got 2 sisters.
Yeah. Oh, does he?
Yeah. He's got
That's right. Yeah.
Bess and Mary Sampson.
Yeah,
they're triplets.
Yeah.
So, Coach, did you take any of your guys to go watch anybody play Saturday? Did y'all go to a game?
This Saturday, I was actually here. I said, well, I need to spend a little time at Troy University and their football program because I know that it's going to get busy. Yeah. It's about to get busy because a lot of college coaches are asking me to bring the kids to play. So this week I was at Troy U's game, but I know Parker, Zion, Quay Grimes, number 5, and Jawan was all at Auburn this past weekend.
Really? Okay.
But they got invited to Penn State to the Penn State game this weekend, so that's where we'll be.
Oh boy, you think you might have an extra ticket? I'd like to go to that game.
Yeah, we'll be.
Dad, your cousin is Brent Bedsoe.
I know it. You know Coach Bedsoe over there?
I don't.
Yeah, Coach Brent Bedsoe is a high school football relations coach at Auburn.
Yeah, that's right.
He came from Spanish. Yep,
that's right.
Yep.
He came from Spanish.
He knew who I was when I met him. He's like, Coach,
that's our cousin, Coach.
Really?
First cousin. That's right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he introduced when I took Zion to the camp, he came over and introduced himself to me. We talked for about 20, 25 minutes, and then he was summoned, and I didn't see him again.
Yeah, I tell people all the time.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
I tell people all the time. If you don't go to that team's camp, you pretty much are not going to be recruited by those teams. Because Isn't that right, Coach?
Yep. Unless if you go to a camp like Zion did, Zion went to the camp, completely dominated the camp. Earned an offer. Yeah. That opened up the door. Auburn University.
But he's only a sophomore, though, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so hopefully in a few years.
Yeah. But that's we're fit to find out. Sometimes it works, sometimes there we go. Right there. Yeah.
Come on, Henry.
Pressure. Yes, sir. We got both of you on. Good morning, you on Today in L.A. with Coach Quinn
Hambright.
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 Right.
I was coming out with it. All right, go ahead.
This is Will Matthews. How you doing?
How you do this week, Will?
Terrible.
All right.
Everybody should have done terrible because the games were weird this week.
Yeah. All right. Before we start talking about this, I think.
Will's the big Ozark alumni.
Yeah, but now, can you talk to him or
he was very good to us last week. I heard Ozark just played horrible. They were fumbling.
Well, Charles Henson was pretty good. They
could have been a lot worse.
Who calls that fumble?
Yeah. I honestly don't know. A kid usually takes credit for something that they didn't do, but it seems like I think everybody was just because he was trying to reach over the one at the goal line, and everybody was just punching at it, so it just slipped out. And Philip Scott, 310 pounds, picked up the ball and just started running for about 15 yards before he got hit.
Well, I'll tell you another thing that happened too, Will. Charles Henderson, you remember this, Will? I know this one really hurt you. Charles Henderson had a running back going into the end zone, and he sticks the football out, and he drops it before he goes, and they had to take a touchback, or that would have been another touchdown, sure touchdown. That one had to hurt, didn't it?
Yes.
I've seen players do that over the years. It's stupid.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Tell everybody what happened.
Well, he caught the ball. What happened was he caught it, and the kid had a decent angle on him, but he still had about 6 yards of sideline to recover. And the kid that caught it, Khalil Carson, is extremely fast. So all he had to do was continue to run.
Yeah,
he switched hands, tried to stick the ball out, and it just didn't work. And the ball flipped in the end zone, and he
didn't even have to do that.
He didn't have to. He could have just kept running, and he would have scored.
That's one of the worst things that ever happened. We saw Alabama lose a football game one time with a play like that. Isn't that right, Mike?
Well, the year
I don't know about Alabama. I've seen it happen before over the years, though.
Yeah, remember Tua dropped one going in.
The Auburn game 2 or 3 years ago it wasn't 2 or 3 years ago. It was with
Mark Ingram.
No, it wasn't Mark Ingram. I don't think. Well, it was. It was Mark Ingram.
Was going in for a touchdown,
that's right.
And he got knocked out of his hand.
Yeah,
and rolled out the end zone.
If he would have scored, Alabama would have gone up 31-0. That's when Cam came back and won the game.
Yeah. So.
we talk about everything on this show. Of course, Will Matthews. I don't know if with a coach up here should we get involved in
we talk about who won and lost this weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? That was one of the greatest moments of my life when Cam beat Alabama 28-27. Because I had a $20 bet on Auburn to win the national championship. And I won $4,000 on Auburn to win the national championship out in Las Vegas when I was out in Las Vegas before the season.
We might not better, but let me finish up with Coach Hambright. Of course, we're so proud of you, buddy.
I appreciate it.
And of course, I know it's a big battle this weekend with Beauregard, and
it will be.
And we need a lot of people in the stands.
Please come out.
I like the way your band does. Y'all and the things y'all do at the end of the game and everything. I really like that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. At the Greenville game, I sat behind them, and when Greenville had the ball third or fourth third innings, they were playing.
Yeah, they're good.
They said,
you
we're
got
fixing to play.
what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah,
he was trying to help you out.
You got a good band director.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
He's
told
a young guy too, didn't
Yeah.
he?
I requested when I was like, look, offense on the field, just have a seat, cheer. The defense on the field, I want to hear those horns. I want to hear those drums.
That's right.
You know, just, and sometimes I regret it because I'm trying to speak to the defense. I'm like, it's loud. And I want to turn around and be like,
but I like
can't.
It's not a huge band, but it's going to get bigger and better. And what's his name?
Gammon.
And,
Greg Gammon.
And, of course, he's doing a great job, too, at Charles High School. But, Coach, I know it's a big battle, and we're so glad you came to be on our show again. Coach Quinn Hambright, ladies and gentlemen, the head football coach at Charles Henderson High School of Troy. Go Trojans. We'll be back.
New or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
These teenage years can be tricky to navigate, especially when it comes to teaching my son about managing money. I'm thankful for helpful tools like Sidekick from Max. With Sidekick, requesting and rewarding money is easy. He can earn it by completing chores, making honor roll, or simply making a request from his own app. I love that I can easily monitor his purchases and set limits to help him learn to make smart choices with his spending, even on video games. Sidekick. Find it in your Max app.
Our wide selection of pre-owned vehicles looks so good, you'll think they're new.
So take the short drive to Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Ford, Troy, Alabama.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy, where they've got some of the best sales going on for the whole year so far. And great opportunity to buy a new or used car from Premier. Remember, nobody beats a Premier deal. All right, Will Matthews, we are running a little bit tight right now, but tell us about the weekend.
A lot of upsets, and your Sunbelt did very well this weekend.
Yeah, another Georgia Southern won that game over Nebraska. Surprised me there.
Georgia Southern made Scott Frost $7.5 million Saturday.
Yeah, we heard $15 million.
Well, he got 15. If they'd have waited 3 more weeks to fire him, then he'd have got 7.5.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
They went ahead and fired him.
I know that is the most obscene thing I've ever heard. The kind of money.
He should have been fired last year.
Yeah. Man, oh man.
He's a Nebraska boy,
I know it, but that is something. It really is.
I think Brian Harsin should try to get the Nebraska job.
Yeah, that's right. He's more suited for that.
He'd be better over there, and plus they're going to fire him at Auburn anyway.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I think he'd be real good over at Auburn. How'd you do on your bets?
Terrible.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, Will Matthews is on the line, and I was just going to ask him, how'd the weekend go for you?
It was not good.
Well, it was some real upsets.
Steve's won't get it.
And well, listen, won't you call us in tomorrow and talk more about
All
it?
right.
Look
All
for
right.
it. Look for it.
Y'all have a good one today. We'll see you.
All right,
Yeah, we're
see you,
going
Mr. Will.
to. We hope that you've enjoyed our show, and of course, stay tuned for the Wiley Sanders Truck Lines show, brought to you by Wiley Sanders Trucking Company. Looking for a job